Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing something super special, super personal, and that's my birth story. Well, I guess it's Roman's birth story. It was at home, unmedicated, nearly 46 hours. Honestly, it changed my life in ways I did not expect. If you hear Roman in the background, he's playing. We're working on our naps, and they're in 30-minute increments. And last night we didn't get too much sleep, so we're working on coffee today. Tomorrow, he's 6 months old. I'm surprised I haven't done the birth story yet, but here we are doing it now. So if you're into birth stories, curious about home births, just want to hear the wild, beautiful, emotional journey, grab some tea, grab some coffee, grab a snack, whatever you want, and let's settle in. Let's go back to November 21st, 2022, the day before my birthday. I was 41 weeks and we were talking about getting my membranes swept. Honestly, I felt very conflicted about this because I didn't want to be forcing him out, but at the same time, we had family coming, and if I had gone to Thanksgiving, that would have been my 42-week mark, and if we hit 42 weeks, we could not do a home birth, and I was just getting nervous about that. Fortunately, my midwives, they checked me and they're like, you know, he's really low, he's good to go. This is not forcing him out. This is just kind of helping you go into labor a little bit quicker. And if you're not ready to go into labor, it's not gonna happen. So that was very reassuring. They did sweep my membranes. So the next day at 3 a.m., it's my birthday, I woke up and started feeling crampy. It wasn't crazy. It was just like noticeable. And then when I went to the bathroom, I had what is called more of a bloody show. That's when I kind of knew, okay, things were happening. I didn't think it was necessary to call my doula or my midwife because like I said, it was very noticeable, but it wasn't painful. And so I was like, okay, I'll just go to bed. It's 3 a.m. I went back to bed, but I didn't fall asleep. I guess I was very anxious. At 6 a.m. I finally got out of bed, and I texted my doula just to let her know, hey, I've been up since 3, this is what's going on, but I don't think you need to come. And again, it was my birthday, so Michael brought me to go get coffee. We had breakfast and just chilled at home. The whole time I was contracting, and I just was like, I need to get my mind off of this. It's not horrible, and it was very inconsistent, so I would time it. Some of it was 3 minutes apart, some of it was like 20 minutes apart. It was very inconsistent. The pain was sometimes more intense than other times, but it wasn't like something crazy. All the while I was talking to my doula and my midwife, just letting them know what was going on. In the evening, that's when things started getting a little bit more intense, and I was getting a little bit more anxious, I think. And so my doula did come, and my midwife came to just check and see like where I was. It was just pre-labor. They put me to bed, left. I did not go to sleep. Another night, another no sleep. The next day, November 23rd, was when the real work started to happen. In the middle of the day, that's when my doula came, that's when my midwife came, and that's when they stayed. My contractions were a lot stronger, but they were still very, very inconsistent. Also started feeling a pain in my lower left hip. That pain was the pain like no other, and it didn't go away either. It just was very consistent. The lower he got, the more painful it got. We started doing exercises to just get things progressing. Mile circuit, walking through contractions, walk up and down the stairs sideways, and then if I had a contraction, I would squat the whole entire contraction and then continue walking up and down. I sat backwards on the toilet, the dilation station. I did not like that. Kicker. The things that really got things going was this, I can't remember the name of it. No one prepared me for this pain. Michael stood behind me, and when I would have a contraction, he would lift my stomach up and I would fall into it. Painful. And the contraction stopped. Michael said that he could feel the baby shift, And then after that, constant, very consistent and stronger than ever. And again, the hip pain, even more strong. Like, that was just probably the worst part of it, was the pain in the hip. So from that point, it was kind of all a blur. I was just breathing through the pain. We're trying a lot of different exercises still, sitting on the yoga ball in the shower, and I actually love that one. I had a blow up birthing tub, and at one point they did put me in there. We thought it was getting close, but unfortunately it slowed down the contractions, which not fun, but that is what it is. He just wasn't ready yet. So we were trying a lot of different things. They like had me on my hands and knees shaking my booty to get him into another position, because the back pain I was having, that kind of was an indication of him not being in the best position. They checked me at one point and I was, I believe, at a 7, and then they checked me again, it felt like hours later, and I had only progressed like half a centimeter. I just felt so defeated. At that point, the pain in my hip was like unbearable. I was in so much pain there, and like I said before, the contractions, yeah, they were painful, but they came and went. The pain in my hip never went away. I definitely felt at one point that I wasn't getting anywhere. And so it was just really, really hard. Because I hadn't really eaten or slept in a while, my body was getting really shaky. They were doing so many things, massaging me, putting essential oils on, anything that was helping me to calm down, but my body was just uncontrollably shaky. I got to the point where I could hear everybody whispering. I didn't really know what they were saying, nor did I really care, just because I was in, you know, doing my thing with the pain. They did tell me that my body needed to relax, so they put me in a bathtub, candles, essential oil, worship music, the whole relaxation thing that you could possibly think of, and shut the lights off. And then Michael came in and he just looked at me and said, "Hey, do you know what shock is?" I definitely know what shock is. He said, "Well, your body is going into shock and we really need you to get yourself to calm down. Otherwise, we may need to go to the hospital for intervention." I just felt so defeated. I felt like I was failing myself. I felt like I was failing Michael. I thought I was failing Roman. I was just failing. Of course, me being me, I felt very emotional and I apologized. And of course, him being him, he said, "Don't apologize. You've got this. We've got this. Everything's gonna be okay. Just relax." It's definitely when I had a moment with myself. The turning point, we should say. I told myself, "Brielle, this baby is coming either way, and that's amazing. That's so happy. You get to choose. You can keep doing what you're doing, which is essentially fighting, trying to be in control, or you can give in. Give in to the pain, give in to this moment, give in to what your body wants and needs to do, and just give in." So I wanted it to be different than what was currently happening. So I decided at that point that the big decision of, I'm going to give in, I'm going to surrender. That's when I closed my eyes. I went back to my hypnosis practice from the past. Every time a contraction came, I let it just easily come and I sank into it. That's the best way I can explain it. Just whispered to myself, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay." Every single time a contraction came, and I just like sank deeper into it. Then I got extremely calm. I'm shocked. Pain was still there, obviously. But I just got more and more calm. Eventually, honestly, the pain went away. After about an hour of doing that by myself, Michael came in and noticed what I was doing, meditating, and he sat next to me and started meditating himself. So we were kind of doing it together. And eventually he whispered to me, "Hey, do you want to continue with the exercises, or would you like to see if you can take a nap?" Being extremely calm now, I was like, it's time for me to see if I can take a nap. So he helped me out of the bathtub. And when I stood up, I had to go to the bathroom. And for those of you who've given birth, you probably know what's coming next. I stood up and I was like, hey, before we go lay down, I need to go to the bathroom. And he just stood there and was like, okay, without you. Leaves. Oh, okay. And he walks out and closes the door. As soon as I sat down on the toilet, my water broke. They say it's like a balloon popping. Yes, that is correct. I called Michael over and he came in kind of shocked, and I was like, hey, my water just broke. Can you go get somebody? I'm pretty sure that's how I said it. But my midwife and doula came in. My midwife noticed that there was meconium, I think that's the name of it, in the water. And she said, hey, I need to examine this a little bit further. It might come to us needing to go to the hospital if she thought it was too dangerous for the baby. At that point, I was there for what, 45, or it was probably 44 hours doing this. Done it for so long, I was like, there is no freaking way that I am going to the hospital at this point. No way. But of course, the team that I had was so amazing. Very humble. They're not, they know when it's time to go to the hospital. And so fortunately we didn't have to go. It was all safe and good. And I asked her, hey, when is this baby coming? She assured me she didn't know. It just depended on my body and the baby. It could be hours, it could be minutes. We don't know. At that point I was like, okay, well, I still kind of feel like I need to push a little bit. I'm just gonna go back on the dilation station and go sit down on the toilet. Sitting there on the toilet, my midwife and doula came in. They looked at each other and they're like, Brielle, are you okay? You're like very calm. I was just like, yeah, I'm calm. I don't know if I told them what I did, but I really was like good. Interesting how that change made the pain go away. It was still there, but it was so bearable. So when I got to the toilet, I felt like I had to really push. And I was just like, I really need to push. My body was still so weak. I was so weak because I had barely eaten. They couldn't really get me to eat. I hadn't slept since like the morning of my birthday. The only time I could push was during the contraction. And it was really like instinctive. I couldn't really control it. I remember like outside of my body watching me looking at my doula. She's asking me a question and I just like instinctively scream, like a scream I have never produced before. It wasn't in pain. And if I was, I don't remember. Pretty sure I said like, I'm so sorry. I don't know where that came from. Like, okay, I gotta push again. That's when things I was like, I gotta push. Clearly he was coming and they checked me and they're like, oh, do you want to feel his head? You can feel it. I'm like, no. I wanted to go into the birthing tub again because I knew it was happening soon. And that's where I originally really wanted to do, to give birth, is the birthing tub. Water in the tub was too cold. So they said, okay, well, let's wait. Can you go on the bed and just wait until we can refill it? When I was walking to the bed, no. He was coming. We got to the bed, I was on my hands and knees, and then the pushing began. One thing that if you've had at-home birth or unmedicated birth, or you're about to, the biggest thing that I can give you during the pushing part is, first I was kind of like instinctively screaming. They kept telling me, okay, that's great. Keep the screaming and push it down. That's really, I think, what got him out faster. That's what I did. I just like kept it in and pushed. Another thing is they talk about the ring of fire. If you don't know what that is, it's the portion where the baby's head is coming through and you're stretching and it just feels like fire. That honestly was like what I was scared about the most. If you push through it, you can tear a lot worse. Fortunately, when I was contracting, I entered the ring of fire, but then it stopped, so I stopped pushing. They talk about birth being very spiritual, and now that I've done it, I definitely can agree with that. The most spiritual part for me was hearing Roman. He didn't cry, he just did a little coo. It was the purest sound that I have ever heard in my life. Definitely not the position that I had imagined I'd be in when giving birth, but I was on my hands and knees, and that's kind of where it happened, just because that's where it happened. And then at 1:07 a.m. on November 24th, Roman was born. 46 hours, I believe, total, unmedicated, and at home with our dogs, Emerson and Rufio, and the best team that we could have possibly been with. They were amazing and patient and kind and just amazing. I need a few stitches. He was a 9-pound baby, and we were actually pretty shocked that he was that big. Also, his hands were up both like this, up by his head, and that could be the reason why I was in so much pain on my hip. Came out latching like a pro because he was sucking his thumb in the womb, and I did lose a little more blood than the midwife would have liked me to lose, so I did have to stay in bed for a week, and then a week after that just like near the bed. Other than that, we're good and we're healthy, and he's here. I've told this story to some of my friends, and I feel like everybody has asked me the same question, and it is, would you do that again now that you've done it? 100%. Now I know what I'm capable of, and how could I not do it? If my body and my health allows it, that's what I'm gonna do, and I know how strong I am. That was the hugest thing. Every birth is different. Every journey is valid in exactly the way that it has to and needs to be, or wants to be, or is supposed to be. Just my story. Maybe you guys have heard this before, but where it's like, oh, you don't remember the pain, so you'll have more babies. That is true. I don't remember it being painful at some points, but I don't remember the pain. At the end, I was thinking and reflecting to myself, was it really that painful, or was I just being dramatic? I think the biggest lesson that I could give here, that I learned for myself, this is not just for birth, it's for life. Surrender and give in to the process. It becomes so much easier. It's definitely something that I constantly remind myself of. Thank you guys for watching. If you have a birth story, I would love to hear it in the comments. I think every story is so special. Sending so much love to the mamas and to the daddies, because they do a lot of work as well. Remember to subscribe to join the journey, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.